Project Pan, Project Pan. I'm somehow very excited to film my Project Pan update for November. We've got less than 2 months left before this is concluded, and I want as many of these products done as possible. So we'll see how we're going. Since last check-in, which I will link in the description box, I have used up 2 products. What the hell were they? First one was my foundation. So this is my Kat Von D True Portrait Foundation. Finally used it up. Hooray. So that is done. And I also used up my MAC eyeshadow. So this was in the shade Lorelei, and you can see it is completely hit pan. Last check-in, I did actually... I hit a lot of pan. I was using this as a highlighter. I was using it as an eyeshadow, but I had repressed it as well. But I had a little bit just around the rim, and so I used that up. So essentially what I did was I just sort of got something sharp, broke it up into a loose powder and used that because it was really hard to get the product out from around the sides. But that is now completely done. So normally if I had more time left in the project and I had less products in here, I would roll in new products to replace those. But with the foundation, for example, I am trying to pan the Kat Von D Good Apple Concealer, and I do use this all over my face because I'm trying to use it up fast. And because I've also introduced my powder foundation by Laura Geller, this is enough base products so I don't need to add in a new thing. I'm not going to get one of my foundations done in the next 2 months, and I would prefer to just focus on these. So I will put weights on the screen of this to see what I'm up to. I actually haven't weighed it yet, so I don't know. But when it comes to my powder foundation, I use this quite a lot. I like this powder foundation. I talked about why I introduced it into my project pan, simply because as I'm using this, the colors are sort of wearing down unevenly, and I'm sort of using the fairer shades first, and then the darker shades tend to be the ones that are left over. And so now it's just too dark for me. I've used this a little bit as a bronzer. This color still works nicely on me if I'm using it very lightly on bare skin. And what I mean by that is no foundation underneath, that my skincare has settled in and like there's no like tacky residue, because if there's any moisture on my face, this just clings to it and turns really dark. So I can still use this. I have been using this a lot as sort of like a setting powder over lighter sort of BB cream products. So it sort of works well together. I don't know if there's going to be any, did I weigh this? I think I did. I'll have an update on the screen of where I'm up to anyway. I do use this, not every day, and I'm struggling with it a little bit, but I'm trying. I like the formula, which is why I'm not just instantly throwing it out. But yeah, the shade is wrong for me, unfortunately. If this was a better shade, I would be milking it alongside my Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. This is a very sort of hydrating primer. Now, I do have quite a big dent in it. I don't use this every day. I like the scent of it. It's like, I don't know, it just smells nice, and like there's citrusy elements, but it smells like fancy skincare. Yeah, I use this when do I use this? Good question. I definitely have not used this 10 times in the last month. I should, because I do my makeup pretty much every day. But because it does leave that sort of dewier base, and if I am using something like this and it clashes with it, like I just don't. So this one I sort of use when I'm going out, when I'm putting on a foundation that might be long wearing or sort of a mattifying, and I feel like a hydrating base will benefit, like the combination works well together. So again, I'm not rushing this one. I do have weights on the screen, I think, that I'll put on the screen. But this one, yeah, it's going to continue over to next year. I'm okay with that. I don't realistically want these to continue over to next year, so I'm going to try really hard because I want to put them behind me. I want to leave them in 2023. I'm happy to carry this over into 2024. Another product that I will be taking into my 2024 project pan, and I might actually take out of this one until then, is my Marc Jacobs. This is the Tan-Tastic Omega Bronzer. It is huge. It is such a big bronzer. It's big, and I have not used it in the past month simply because I'm using something else in my project pan, and right now this color doesn't really suit me. I'm hoping that as the weather warms up and I get a little bit more of a tan, this will come out more frequently. but I have not touched it in the past month. So I'm actually going to take this out just for simplicity purposes and introduce it into my project next year. So this is being set aside. What I have been using a lot more, and what I'm using today along with a highlighter, is the Neo highlighter in Sahara from Kevyn Aucoin. So this one I talked about, it is like a highlighter, champagne to rose gold to bronze sort of highlighter, but I actually like using this side as a bronzer because I am that fair that is my bronzer. I also like the luminosity it gives, even though this is like a highlighter, it's sort of like a satin finish, and that's totally fine for my sort of dry skin at the moment. So you can see it is a bronzy sort of color, and it does actually work with my skin tone quite well. Now, I don't know if I've used it enough to see much usage. I will have photos on the screen, but I have been using it. I have also been using different areas of it. So instead of just using the bronzer, I often use this as a highlighter. So I have been using it across the board, but because it is so big, it contains 21 grams. It just means that it takes a long time to get through, but I really like the effect of this, and it does suit my makeup style a lot more at the moment. It's sort of more subtle, it's a bit glowy, not too much color, not too much effort, and it works. So I really like that. I also have been going quite heavy on the blush. I don't know if you can tell the peachy cheeks. This L'Oreal Life's a Peach blush. I use it every single day. Sometimes I use it on my eyes. Sometimes I use it on my lips. Today I'm wearing it on my lips. Forgot about that. I actually set my lipstick with it to see if I can add a little bit more matte and a little bit more orange tone to it. So I'm trying. I am goddamn trying. Now, pretty much the imprint on the pan has completely gone, and there are bumps in it. I don't know if you'll be able to see in the photo that I have on the screen, but I have been using the heck out of this. I sometimes even apply this with my sponge. That's how much I'm trying to use this up. I'm like, sponge, sponge, sponge. I don't care if I've gone clown cheeks. I want to see some pan by the end of the year. So that is my goal. Pan by the end of the year. I am dedicated to the cause, and I've been using this a lot. The other thing that I'm wearing on my cheeks, highlighter, is my Super Shock cheek from Colourpop in the shade Out of Quartz. This is a putty, so it moves around a lot. I will have a photo on the screen where I was up to last month, but the pan sort of gets moved around. You can sort of really move it to the sides and build up the sides and make the pan look extra big. Or you can bring it into the middle and shear it out a little bit and make the pan look quite small. So my natural way of using it is just to sort of swirl my finger in it, and that's sort of what it comes up as. So I don't know. Again, I'm really hoping to use this up by the end of the year. I think I will be able to do it. It's just about consistency, and because I mainly use it as a highlighter, when I do use the Kevyn Aucoin one, I can't use that one, and blah, blah, blah. But we're narrowing it down and trying to make it work. I can also use it as an eyeshadow, so let's try. Speaking of eyeshadow, my palette, this is the Born This Way Sunset Stripped by Too Faced. Last month I talked about repressing this one and this one, I believe. They had both hit pan, and the reason I repressed them was because they felt a little bit oily, and they were quite hard to pick up without them like chunking up. And now I can say that this one improved in the texture of it. This one, not so much. This one is still oily. And like you can see when you move it around, it almost like is like a putty. Look at, so it is like, it's not a powder, it is just like a smudgy putty. And the problem is when you want to pick that up with a brush, it just does not want to pick up, or when you do, it just sort of like breaks up. So that is very strange. I've totally decided to get rid of, like, I don't care about that one. I am simply focusing on this one. So this one was repressed. It did dry it out a little bit and made it much easier to pick up, which is great because I was struggling with it. And you can see if I just clean this off a little bit more, the pan is huge. If this is not done by next month, I give up on panning because that is silly. Once this is done, this palette is gone. I have no reason to keep it. There's pan here, there was pan there, a little bit pan up there, but this is the main eyeshadow that I wanted to use up. And I am wearing it today along with my eyeliner in this project, but this is just the one eyeshadow all over my eye. I sort of packed it on a little bit more on the lid, blended it out here. It's very twinkly, has this sort of like browny purple vibe to it with this gold shimmer. It's very pretty. I really like it. I like it with just a bit of mascara. I like it built up. I like it whatever. It's very pretty and it's nearly gone. So I will have a photo of this palette versus last month, but once this is done, this palette is kaput. Speaking of eyeliners, I have been using my Rimmel Scandaleyes Kohl Kajal eyeliner. I think it's in green or olive. I'm not sure. Green, I think it is. It is looking tiny. I know that I have been sharpening the bejesus out of this simply because the top never gets very sharp. It sort of just smudges. So I have been using it a lot, but I have been sharpening it a lot. I feel like there's going to be a drastic difference in where this was at last month versus now. And it also probably gives me hope that if I keep sharpening the way I'm sharpening, I can use this up by the end of the year. And I like it. Like I'm using it today. It's a nice sort of green that's a little bit olive-ish. It's not too bright, but it's not too brown. Like I quite like it. So I could easily use that. Other eye products, I've got my Kabrow brow pomade by Benefit. I'm still going. I actually have to rehydrate this because it's getting quite dry. I have come to the conclusion that if I don't use this up by the end of the year, I'm going to get rid of it because the more I rehydrate it, so here's the thing, as you use more and more Inglot Duraline, it sort of makes the product become firmer and firmer. And that's why they say to sort of rehydrate one little section at the time, use up that section and rehydrate more. What I've been doing with this, because I can't be bothered, is I just rehydrate it all. But the more you rehydrate it, the more it turns into like a little solid rock. So this one, you're not going to be able to see progress very well, but I have been using it very consistently. But the nature of a brow pomade is it takes a billion years to use it up. And that one, I think I can say goodbye to at the end of the year. When it comes to my NARS eyeshadow primer, I love this. I use this as eyeshadow. So it is in the shade medium dark, which on me looks like a bit of a caramel brown. And it is a really nice sort of like cream liquid eyeshadow. So if I'm just going for just a soft brown matte, I will just use this on its own. I will have weights on the screen. I don't know how I'm going with it, but I know I do use it. Lip products, again, I vouched that I'm going to use this up by the end of the year. And I think at the start of the month, I was doing really, really well. And then in the last few weeks, I just sort of switched to lip balm. But I'm wearing my MAC, not Velvet Teddy, Lady Danger. This is how much I've got left. Let's put more on. Let's do it. Let's do it. I love this color. It's so gorgeous. Oh, it's so bright and beautiful. Anyway, there'll be a photo on the screen of where I was up to this month versus last month. I don't know if you'll see any noticeable difference, but I am trying to the point where when I go to a work meeting and I'm wearing a red lip, some other people in my work meeting are just like, Lady Danger? And I'm like, yes, again. I also have Velvet Teddy, which I've got a little nub left of and I need to use up. These are doable in 2 months. It's just a matter of getting it done and not favoring lip balm. And when I'm talking about lip balm, now you might remember last month I got rid of a Colourpop, like a plumping lip balm, because I just wasn't really using it. And I was like, okay, I'll just focus on the lipsticks. Well, literally like the day after filming that, I decided to pull out my Lineage. This is the lip glowy balm in Grapefruit. I decided that I like this a lot more than the Colourpop one because it's a lot sheerer, it's a lot glossier. I can use it at night before I go to bed. I can use it wherever. And I've been using this. Now I did mark this. I marked it here and now I'm down to there. So I have been using this a lot. That's a lot of lip product in 1 month. So that's why my lipsticks haven't been getting as much love, because I've just been defaulting to this. So I need to go back onto the lipstick bandwagon. But the way I'm going with this and how I'm sort of seeing progress, I will finish this by the end of the year, which is great. So I've got like so many lip balms and I'm buying more of them because I use them so often. I'm like, oh yeah, I can order some from Glossier, sure. And then all of a sudden I'm like, wait, I've ordered 2 from Glossier and 2 from Lanolips and I've got a drawer full and I've got to start using them. So, you know, the more I use, the better, let's be real. And I do genuinely put lip balm on a couple of times a day. The last thing I want to talk about, yes, is my perfume. So this is the Tokyo Milk dark, everything and nothing. I love it. I talked about loving it. It's one of my oldest fragrances that I've got in my collection at the moment, which is why I'm targeting it. And it's been in a couple months. So what I've done, I'll show you. So when I introduced it, it was up to there. Last month was there. This is this month. So we've made quite a lot of progress. And I've marked where the bottom of the bottle sits. So all this bottom part is just glass. The actual perfume stops there. So I should be able to finish this by next month. Yay. So that's my update for November, but I am very optimistic that I can use up probably a good, let's say, half a dozen products by the end of the year. These are the ones I'm thinking. So highlighter, concealer, eyeliner, perfume definitely, lip balm, hopefully lipsticks. Let's hope. And then there are some that regardless of what happens, I'm going to get rid of. So I'm going to use that eyeshadow up and say goodbye to that. This is going to go. The bronzer, highlighter thing, a blush, an eyeshadow primer. And that's totally fine. If I can just be left with those and carry those over to next year, I am a happy camper. So that is my plan. I feel like I can do it. It's just a matter of using it consistently. I can happily say that I do use makeup pretty much every day because I'm in work calls every day, but I don't wear much makeup. Like I will quickly put a bit of concealer on, quickly put a bit of powder, maybe a lip gloss, maybe brows and mascara. So I'm not wearing loads of makeup like I am today, but I should, if I have them out and I have them looking at me and reminding me every day, I should be making good progress. So taking this one out this month and it'll be coming back in next year, but the rest of it I'm quite happy with. So let me know how you're going with your project pan. Are you optimistic or are you crapping your pants that you're not going to get as much done as you want to by the end of the year? Especially since how later in the year holiday releases come out, it gets exciting, fun new stuff, you want to play with it. I understand that. If you are finding the temptation in that, which I am, I totally get you. I would recommend doing like an 80-20 rule when you do your makeup. 80% of the products you use project pan, 20% use your fun new stuff, and then just rotate that every day. So if you want to use a fun new lip product, go for your life, but do the rest of your makeup in project pan stuff. If you want to go fun with the eyes, awesome, but do the rest of your face with your project pan. And I feel like if you do that, you can keep things interesting and fun while still making progress on the majority of your products. So that would be my tip for the holidays. But wishing you love and luck and project panning goodness. And I'll be chatting in the comments and I'll see you in the next one. And thank you to my members, my channel members, for supporting my channel. Mwah! I love you all. You're all very special to me. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.